Get that intro loaded, sir.
All right.
Because we're about
Can
to
you
play
hear me?
the intro. We can hear you, Church. Your man Ayrton. We can hear you. Your man Ayrton
Alright.
has a good musical
Oh, yeah.
introduction for the show.
Oh no! I discovered this a few weeks ago and have been sharing it with my coworkers. I just assumed you guys had already heard it all.
No,
I've
hit that
been-
play
The
button, Ayrton.
most tormenting thing about this. Hold on. The most tormenting thing about this song isn't that they glued their balls to their butthole, but this is the second time that it's happened. At least.
Or at least.
Well, let's
Continue.
I can't take a dump, cause now my balls are blocking up my butthole. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. Good God, I pulled too hard, now my scrotum's stretched out like a fucking yard. Oh God, I grew my balls to my butthole, baby. Oh my God, what did I do? I can't take a dump, cause now my balls are blocking up my butthole. My lady doesn't want a life of watching her man use a butter knife. Face down, ass up, try and solve his sack. Oh baby, fucking please just take me back. I grew my balls to my butthole, baby. Oh my God, what did I do? I can't take a dump, cause now my balls are blocking up my butthole. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on blue. Good God, I pulled too hard, now my scrotum's stretched out like a fucking yard. Glued my ball, it was inevitable, baby. This could have happened to anyone. Life is just fun like that.
How long does this thing go?
It's pretty long.
What did I do?
2 minutes and 17 seconds.
Okay. So I'd say for this song, this is out like 4 or 5 times.
Good God, I pulled too hard. Now my scrotum's stretched out like a fucking yard.
Now you see, I also had plans of an open for the show. So let me share with you my plan. Let me hit that little button over here, and this button over here, and allow, and play.
We're not getting audio. I don't think you
Oh.
shared.
Give me a second. Well,
Yeah.
why is
Oh
it?
yes, I know what this is.
Yeah, Twitter's weird with the screen share for audio sometimes.
What do I have? What I got to do to screen share this to fix it?
So close out of the screen share.
Stop sharing.
Yep. And then when you go to present, there will be a thing that says also share tab audio. And you might have to actually copy the actual video address and put that in a separate tab outside of the actual tweet for it to work.
No, I recently saw this on Mad at the Internet.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to recommend my AV guy does this because I have a distinct feeling that I'm going to be a boomer. We have a boomer moment here, and I'm going to put this up for the AV man to get right because I'm not sure it's gonna. Wait a second, stop sharing. I'll put
I'll
this
just
here.
pull it up real
Doop-a-doop.
quick.
Boop boop.
It's loading.
Because I mean, I'm still using Firefox.
His
So
brain's
now
out.
let's get this.
Okay, tell me when to go.
Let's do it.
You heard of Bluey? It's Australian
Is it the dog
cartoon,
show?
dog show.
I put it on for my dog when I leave.
That the dog dad, I would fucking fuck his brains out. The dog dad, he's funny, he's kind, he's smart.
He's a
I
dog?
have never, yes,
Okay.
he's a dog, and I have never been more attracted to anybody in my life.
Really?
And it is a
Bandit?
cartoon dog.
Bandit?
Oh, he's such a good dad.
He looks like a dog version of Phil Dunphy.
I masturbated to him.
Really?
I have masturbated to him.
Like, I'm so curious though. Is he a cartoon?
He's a
then?
cartoon.
Were you imagining you two together? Were you just reading to his
I
personality?
was reading to him. You have to hear his voice though. I was also reading to his voice. Have you heard of Bluey? It's Australian.
Is it the
All right. So why is it that white women are snitching on themselves?
Thank you. I was actually looking to share that right now. Very good.
I'm getting pretty good at setting up the old tab flipping. Anyways,
You knew that was coming. So
Yeah. One of us was going to do it.
so
one of us was gonna come.
I'm going to come.
But
Oh man,
yeah.
what a wonderful thing to come in on.
Yeah.
You missed the fantastic
Fuck you,
song.
Ayrton.
You missed the fantastic song of "I Glued My Balls to My Butthole," and then "White Women
Again.
Talking About Bluey."
Get
I
me
have-
about the again. It's the most important part of the song.
I have seen the cover for that song, and I'm glad I missed it.
It's so good. It's like a classic, like chill Motown
Yeah.
ballad.
Yeah,
It's
Like
fantastic.
50s, 60s era.
Like this guy had it happen like 5 or 6 times, and that makes me ask so many
And
provocative
then,
questions.
a female comedian, oxymoron, in my opinion, said that she was going to fuck the dad from Bluey.
I've seen that video. I was horrified.
Mhm.
Although I will
Actually,
say,
I saw Bluey for the first time this week as well.
I will say,
What
however,
do you think
that,
about Bluey as somebody a key demographic for it?
I will say that I have seen female comedians, and some of them are funny. It happens. But I am deeply
Or
confused.
they trans women.
No, they were actual women. But I am deeply confused as to whether the funny ones call themselves comedians because everyone knows that that's what they are, or if they're the pretentious ones that call themselves comedian because they need that female inflection, like heroine. When it's like, we all know that there's a female infinitive, but really, you're a comedian. Comedian's a comedian. Funny person's a funny person. Your only goal is to be funny, not to be, expressive.
So, do we want to go deeper into the furry stuff, or do we want to talk about Zack Snyder?
About who?
Zack Snyder's furry stuff?
I mean, there wasn't furry stuff in Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar.
Would Rebel Moon have been improved if there were?
Yes.
I
Because remember the first one, they did have tentacle sex.
Good Christ.
You don't
So-
remember that?
No, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure I just put it out of my mind because I didn't want to remember.
There is one thing that I wanted to bring up. The only thing that I've kept up with that might be pertinent to the show. And I'm sure I'll have more things to add over the course of the evening. But the ongoing CG Civil War is brewing very nicely. I don't know if any of you have seen.
Wait. Isn't this CG Civil War like 3 or 4 or 5?
I mean, yes, but this one's actually like
Entertaining.
noticeable. Because
I mean, is it noticeable because like the total number of crowd
yes,
for
yes,
CGs
because
gone
Cecil
down?
and John Malin went after each other at one point this week.
Well, I mean, only one of those people has talent, and unfortunately, it's not Cecil.
Yeah, but see, Cecil called a spade, and
Wait.
John Malin and EVS didn't like that too much.
Doesn't John Malin live in Michigan?
I don't know.
I feel like he lives close to where I'm from in Michigan, unless I'm thinking of somebody else.
So
But,
let's talk about a fat, untalented man who's decided to smack the person who's given him money. So what did Cecil say that was worthy?
well, apparently, someone. So, geeks and gamers, we're all familiar with that troop of internet hooligans.
I mean,
There's
I
a
am
gentleman by the name.
not, but I probably should be.
You probably know who some of them are if you saw
Yeah,
them.
yeah. It's what's his name? Cobra, D-Day Cobra.
It's Jeremy.
Yeah.
It's your boy
Jeremy,
Jeremy.
D-Day Cobra, and then there was Gary, I believe. Well,
They have a
Gary
bunch
is
of lesser people.
Gary is apparently married, and someone posted images of Gary's wife.
Oh no, that's Gary from Nerdrotic.
Okay, well, he's apparently part of the Geeks and Gamers.
Well,
think,
they're all in the same clique.
Yeah, they're part of like the
So someone had made fun of Gary's wife, and well, as the things go, Gary's wife is not a content creator. She's not part of this whole shtick. So they didn't appreciate that. They didn't take it as, oh, it's just fair criticism. It's just banter. She's not involved in this. You're just attacking someone to be a dick.
Oh, actually, I know the guy that started that. Actually,
who was it?
I can't. I can never remember his name. Hold on, give me a minute. I'll find it.
But John Malin and Ethan Van Sciver have gone so far as to start making puppet shows for their detractors in Geeks and Gamers. So they bandied about and laughed about this.
Richard Embry.
Oh yeah, and didn't he? Wait, no, that's Ed Piker is what I'm thinking about. But now Richard Embry, I don't know too much about him, but apparently he's Team Malin and EVS in this whole kerfuffle. And so Cecil came in and basically said, hey, you guys are kind of doing the same shit that you all started out saying was being done to you and that you were against with these guys. And John Malin took offense to it. And Cecil's like, well, you're just being a pussy.
I mean, he's not wrong.
You're displaying feminine behavior. And EVS kind of eventually like bullied Cecil into half-ass apologizing. But yeah, so chaos amongst the ranks. And you know, as much as I don't particularly care for Cecil's brand of entertainment.
Wait, Cecil's entertaining?
He thinks some people think he's entertaining.
Well, I mean, they're wrong.
But no, it's getting funny because all of this started, if I'm not mistaken, because Eric July made a boatload of money because he had a big following. And
Gary,
even though his comment,
in my opinion, Gary sucked up to him.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Geeks and Gamers crew, but that's how it's always been since the start of this stuff, right? Everybody kind of sucks up to the big fish and hopes to catch a little bit of their droppings.
And Eric doesn't have any droppings.
Well, I mean, you would think that latching on to his audience, and maybe if you suck up to him, that audience will, you know, follow you and like you because you're in the same in group they are. It's the same mentality that early CG had with a lot of these small time creators who actually had a little bit of talent or a little bit of passion that came out and they started producing books and they couldn't crack any numbers because that's just not how this thing works. But we haven't figured that out 6 years into CG, 7 years into CG, however fucking long it's been at this point. God, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Well, we started the show in 2019, Church.
Well,
that was Fuck me, that was 6 years ago.
Look, here's the thing.
5,
I am
but-
not going
5.
to posit an argument
No,
that
because 2019 was a
creators
year,
should be
2020 was a
grateful
year,
to their
2021, 2022, 2023,
Yeah,
2024.
yeah,
That's
but we
6.
started around April of 19 though, so
So we're on
Alright,
our
I'll
5-year
wait till the
anniversary
wait till
now.
the math question is done.
Okay. Go ahead.
Right. So I'm not going to make the argument that creators should be grateful to their fans, although they should if you're a decent fucking human being, or that Eric July is expected to open doors or make space for other people, because he's not. That's not a requirement. Okay? But the thing of it is that if we look at, say, our buddies over at shit, their names are over my head. Uh, he has a fucking thing every Monday for new creators where they can just open mic.
Oh,
Peter
Peter
Samedi.
Yeah, we look at Peter Samedi, or we look at Don Chin. These are successful industry insiders, even if they are indie, who understand that having a certain amount of co-fraternity, going, hey man, we're all in this together, you're doing the best you can. If you make it, that's great. If and I'll toast your success. If you don't, I'll drink a beer with you and commiserate your failure, is a nice thing to do. All right? Eric July presents himself, in my opinion, as a person that is basically coming in to play tackle football with no pads, right? There is no inducement in his behavior to think about the other guys anything other than competition, right? And we can all agree that's a little shitty, Eric. Wherever you are, Eric, that's a little shitty. The thing is that I think what we're talking about here is actually the disguises falling away. There are indeed other people in the indie sphere who have revealed themselves to have the same mentality. People who used to or do proffer themselves as representatives of the people, will help you out, we're here to befriend you, who have no vested interest in helping anyone else. They don't give a shit. They are in fact more interested in collecting followers into their audiences to prop them up with false promises. And that's kind of shitty. Like, that's shitty in general. That's shitty whoever does it. Doesn't matter if you're in comics or not.
I mean, you're not wrong, but what do you expect to change about that? Because that's just the way it's
I mean-
always been.
I mean, I don't know. But the thing is that I think that a lot of people have an almost dreamy naivete about what they're doing. I'm going to make a comparison. Larry and I are often talking about the guys over at Red Letter Media, because the guys at Red Letter Media love bad movies and they review bad movies and they make bad movies, which means that they often will describe real industry inside stuff, real craft on the making of movies, when a subject worthy of it comes up. And one of the things that they say that I think would surprise people is making movies is a terrible business.
that was
Not
actually
because-
something they mentioned in their most recent Neil Breen review.
Right.
How Neil Breen's quality as a filmmaker has declined because he can be lazy now with CGI.
Right. And quite frankly, may not feel the drive or passion, even as a crazy man he may have once felt, for his films. Film is just now something he does. Right? In that sense, it's like, to the outsider, making a comic must be such a wonderful thing. Everybody must be friends. Everybody's an artistic visionary. Everybody's going to make their Spider-Man, and it's going to be wonderful. Right? And then you see the conversations where actual insiders are like, no, it's Mean Girls in high school all over again. It is the nastiest, cutthroatiest, insular clique of mobsters you've ever seen, and they do it over art. And it's like, we shouldn't be surprised. We should never have been surprised about it, right? So when you ask me, well, what can we do to change it? It's like, I don't know, but we should. I think the people involved should actually aspire to be better, because if you want to be better than your competition, the big corporations, you have to actually be better than the big corporations, and that means not engaging in this penny ante bullshit.
Hold up. Do you know what percentage of comic books the big corporations sell? 13% of the total comic book market.
Really, that's it?
That clocks
enough that my
fourth.
headset died right as you asked me, and I have no idea what you said. They don't want me to know.
The big comic book companies only produce 13% of the total comic book market.
Right.
Manga's number one.
Obviously.
Dog Boy is number two. Actual comic books for children are number three.
Right.
And the mainstream comics clocking it at 13%.
I was talking to my wife, and every week my son is on his Epic account reading the new comic books that come out on there. And I mean, you occasionally see hard copies of these things in some stores, but for the most part, like their collections or whatever, the comic books as we knew them growing up have just been so outdated for so long with no change. Like they attempted to move to digital, but they always put the emphasis on the collectability of owning the book.
Well, they're also digital. The digital format.
Not owning the book, he wants to be able to read the fucking thing.
Digital isn't good for reading.
Well, that is actually what I am also getting at. What were we saying, Larry? I accidentally talked over you.
Digital isn't good for reading a comic book.
No, I fucking hate it.
It's not good for reading a Marvel or DC comic book. I actually prefer it for manga.
It's better for manga, but really, the way the comic book page is laid out, the digital readers don't work as well as.
Well, no, but when you're created for that digital medium, like these Catboy and Dogman comics are, like,
I mean, they're made to be in those little young adult little novella style books.
Yeah, but I mean, they're also digital. Go ahead.
This is actually what I was getting at, though, right? It's not just that the medium hasn't evolved, as you say, Church, which you are 100% right. We need to be honest about what is our medium, but the people making them are more interested in having reputation or having creative control or asserting some kind of arbitrary flex on the medium to keep it where it is, that when you say, oh, well, mainstream comics only has about 13% of the market. Yeah, down from what? Because I'll bet you it used to be a lot higher. Yeah.
Down from 100% of the market.
Yeah, clearly somebody fucking up. And they've been fucking up for a long time.
Yeah, but Rune, you see that mindset in every single creative industry. Music industry, the film industry, TV, like it's all the same thing.
It's also
they're all in the same condition, aren't they?
It's also in the internet. It's there's a new term for it called enshittification. How things get good to a certain point, and then they stop focusing on being good, and they focus on managing what they have, and then quality just declines over time.
Why is it not showing? There we no. There it is. No, that's not it either. Where the fuck?
I mean, I find it very interesting as we're talking about this that this curve you describe dovetails very nicely with the rise of lifestyle.
Let's
When your
take a look at this real
subject
quick,
no longer
though,
becomes about enjoying it and becomes about living it.
Yep.
just to kind of argue the point, though, a little bit. This comic was drawn and created to be consumed on a digital platform as well as in a novella style. The reason I say that is if you look at the paneling and you look at the fact that it's not cluttered, but every piece of the page is utilized, it's very colorful, it's very bright, but it's also very distinctive. The lettering is very clear. Even the dynamic lettering is very clear. But this is better put together than just about anything we've seen out of the indie or mainstream comics that we've reviewed on this show in the last year and a half. Just these two pages.
I mean, it has an overt similarity to Sonic the Hedgehog comic from the '90s because I used to read that shit.
You mean Sonichu?
No, I mean actual Sonic, you degenerate.
Now that Sonichu didn't come out until the mid 2000s, Aaron. Calm down.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And that was Chris, now Christine, tracing '90s Sonic comics.
But no, this I mean, it looks good. It's well put together and it's easy to digest. They also implement a read-along function that allows you to go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, the colors are bright, like you can feel like there's a lot of energy and movement in the paneling and the page layout and stuff like that. Yeah,
but it's not cluttered. It doesn't.
No,
and
not at all.
At no point in this, like you've got 4 panels that don't have a single text box in them, and you can tell exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, no, that's actually surprisingly good.
Right. So that's what I mean by these comics are actually created for a digital market as opposed to an X-Men comic that's created for a standard comic sized page and then scanned in at a high quality.
Well, made worse by the actual artistic form of deconstruction. Everyone talks about the written form of deconstruction where we're going to take a mythic element and retcon it to be different. But the visual deconstruction, which was lifted from manga and then implemented, frankly, improperly to Western comics, is a visual form based in photography, how photos are taken for film and for television and for movies. And hinges on, frankly, a lot of shit not happening, slowing down the action. But I think most of us would agree comics were at their best once upon a time when they were intensely active and visually bombastic and had a sense of active motion between panels.
So I have an interesting thought on this. Being
for once,
being someone who's like a huge nerd for like ancient like history and architecture and stuff like that.
Indeed.
What you see a lot of in kind of like the great ancient powers of the day, like the Inca, the Egyptians, stuff like that. You actually see their oldest architecture is the most precise, most impressive, most refined, and as the actual empires start declining in power, their art essentially, or architecture in this case, starts. You can see a hard line where that industry, if you want to call it that, declines in quality very, very rapidly. Usually leading up to like the ending of that particular power. Could there be some similar correlation there? Like we're on the decline as a society and a culture.
I mean, you are not
that's kind
wrong
of obvious.
insofar as. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over your church.
No, I mean, I'm just saying that's kind of obvious that we've
I was going to say, you're not.
society and a culture.
I was going to say, you're not wrong insofar as visual media goes, because you see that in the Roman Empire versus the Byzantine Empire is the pronounced degradation of their visual media. But I would not necessarily say that it's causation is correlation type deal.
Yeah, I would say it's more indicative
Because
of the state of a society.
yeah, sure,
And
I'll go with indicative, but it's not a 1-to-1. If you see this sign, run for the hills.
and we do live in a society.
But
I
did
mean,
you
I
have
don't
breakfast
actually
this
believe.
morning?
I actually don't believe we live in a society, though. It's the real tragedy of that.
Oh. But I don't know, just something interesting, because when you look at like especially ancient Egypt, you have even pre-dynastic examples of amazing craftsmanship and stuff that have such fine precision and symmetry, using materials that we can't really work with to that level today, diorite, granite, stuff like that. And you see, like, you have the old kingdom, you have kind of like these huge, amazing, highly polished relief statues and stuff like that, and then in the new kingdom, like it gets vastly more crude. Like the engravings aren't as refined. Like you can see a definite progression as you look through
Well,
the artistic timeline of ancient Egypt. It's
well,
really, really
the thing
fascinating.
there is, let's just use Egypt as our classroom example. You are correct. As different dynasts fell, or as different stages in their artistic expression fell, you lose a lot. But you also see, as different powers rise, like the Ramesside era, some of our greatest artistic wonders from those empires are there. Now, was it ancient state-mandated propaganda? Well, yes, but the point is that dedicated craftsmen with the money to work and a zeal to do so, right, still produce great works. Right? It's literally a point at which, frankly, people in a more collective sense stop giving a shit. Right? And if we start talking about our society now,
there
or
were
the
economic
non-society
factors to
right,
for like the new kingdom kind of dissolving, and then with like the Greek invasion and them taking over and stuff.
right, but what I'm getting at is, if we then look at modernity, right? It's not a lack of money necessarily. It's not a lack of interest necessarily, although certainly various bad economic decisions and policies hurt, right? But probably about the time we started seriously promulgating in pop culture the idea that not giving a shit was cool unless you were trying to be cool, in which case it wasn't cool, which has never gone away, but has only grown more and more esoterically refined, to the point that we now have people that give a shit ironically, because being ironic is more important than being real. And Larry and I have talked about the false quest for authenticity when everything is fake and everything is gay.
Well, and see that actually kind of goes into what I'm talking about, is because over the time frame, we'll stick with Egypt because more people are familiar with them than like the Inca Empire, but like it's not just that they stopped producing things to equality. It's almost like they couldn't do it anymore. Like they lost the craftsmanship skills over these times as well.
Well, that's the That's the thing, and I'm actually going to say that there is some
They
some
lost to
similarity to
slave
what you're
labor to
talking
do it too. That matters.
about. Well, what I was going to say is that anybody who's a big Egypt nerd knows about that idea of the Bronze Age collapse, right? And plus the relevance of like bad medicine and disease and plague and all those sorts of things. There are several mass death events or mass society collapse events that straight up ruin Egypt, and Egypt isn't able to really bounce back. It never attains the levels of focus that it originally had when it was a green Egypt, right? When we look at modernity, while I would love to say, oh, we're not having that because people are living longer and we've got better technology and we're so much smarter in so many ways, which we are, right? At the same
I'm
time,
actually not convinced that we are, but continue.
differently intelligent, different levels of education. We know, for instance, that the sun rises whether you pray to Ra or not.
Well, here's the
Uh,
fun thing. They knew
s-
that then too.
Yeah, so did the
Yeah, but if you didn't
the
pray to Ra,
pre-dynastic.
they'd still kill you.
No, actually,
That gets
pre-dynastic Egyptians actually were. I probably had a
Right.
better understanding of the cosmos, and
Right, but dynastic Egyptians were in a totalitarian hellscape where the pharaoh was
I
the
s-
sun.
no, I said pre-dynastic.
I know, and I was saying, but then you compare it to dynastic, where the state is the religion. What I'm getting at is, as much as I would love to say that we are different, right? That is a problem that media, especially in entertainment, is running into right now. Not just the brain drain in science, right? But people that have only ever worked in CGI assist or various modern techniques who are like, I have this problem. Well, what is it? I can't do this thing. Well, why can't you figure it out? Because there's no computer program for it. Have you tried practical effects? What? Practical effects. But those are old. Yeah, but they work. Okay, well, why can't we get the practical effects guy? Cause Todd Savini is dead.
so.
I
So
missed that
this
guy. He was great.
He was
so
great.
this,
I
this
loved
feels
watching
like
him on come on to like Conan and stuff, and just like fuck with him with all his practical effects.
Right.
So good.
so
Anyway,
this sounds like a perfect segue for
Segue.
Scar Giver, Rebel Moon Part
Oh.
2.
Oh, you mean let's talk about movies that don't know how to make movies from a fucking hack whose last good movie was Dawn of the Dead, a remake of a better movie?
I mean, that is a very accurate statement you have, Ro. A very accurate statement. So, Church and Eric,
yeah.
do you
Ayrton,
remember?
I'm gonna find you, man.
Do you
I am
remember?
gonna fucking find you.
Do you remember when we discussed Rebel Moon Part 1?
No.
He just put it out of his mind. It was too damaging.
How about
Even
you,
a
Church?
little.
Do you remember Rebel Moon Part 1? Church?
Yeah.
I think he committed Sudoku before we have this discussion.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Did you remember Rebel Moon Part 1?
He rolled a d6 and he came up with dead.
Yes.
All right. So you see,
Yes, I do.
the producers of this movie considered most people were like Ayrton. And so this movie started with a flashback narration, not a full flashback, but a narration telling everybody what happened in the previous movies.
Now, this
By
might
Anthony
strike some
Hopkins.
viewers as harsh, but I believe everyone involved in this story should die.
And our heroes got back to the space Amish planet to do some farming, prepare to defend the people.
Oh, I
The
remember you
invasion.
saying something about space Amish people in the review.
Yes. And then the evil general wakes up because, of course, he does, because death is only a temporary problem in the future. Except this is a future where you have to get grain from people on planets. And your spaceships are run on coal. I'm just going to repeat that. The spaceships are run on coal.
Well, I
That's
mean,
never
it would be
gonna.
better if they were run on Steam, but we can't all be winners.
So the
Wait,
bad guy.
is Zack Snyder autistic? Is he like trying to get his love of trains into the Star Wars universe? Is that what's
I
going
know
on here?
multiple people who are autistic. He doesn't deserve the excuse of being autistic. He's just a fuckhole.
So the bad guys are going
Be
to come
nice
to the
to
planet.
actual autistic people. They got it hard enough without being compared to Zack Snyder.
It's true.
That's fair. I'm sorry.
So the bad guys are going to come to the planet in a couple of days. So they have a training montage. A training montage where all the women are automatically good at everything. And all of the men, including our hero protagonist males, are just okay at doing things. They also find
that's just kind of how it.
Yeah. They also find the spaceship that the protagonist female got out, which was a 2-day hard ride from where the village is, and they moved it out of the cave.
Did you say a hard ride?
A hard ride.
Daddy.
Thank you.
Anyways.
Thank you. That is a technical horse riding term. You know that, Aaron.
It is.
And this is a 2-day hard ride that is going to become important later in the movie. And so, the middle sequence of the movie, they're all sitting around the table and saying, everybody needs to tell everybody their backstories again, because who's going to fucking remember the backstories of these characters from the last movie?
All the way through.
And everybody tells their correct and full backstory except for the main character girl. My personal favorite one of the backstories we hear about in the backstory sequence is the general. So the general decides to rebel against the evil regime that took over after the king and queen got murdered. And so they do a North Korean-style execution with the big guns from the starship of his men. And I unironically giggled like a schoolgirl when I watched that, because that was hilarious. I'm pretty sure that is not what was supposed to happen in the Zack Snyder movie.
That you were supposed to giggle, or that they were supposed to just think that retarded?
That I was supposed to giggle at that North Korean style execution. Now, the main character added another level of nuance to her backstory. So she was assigned to protect the heir to the throne. And the heir to the throne, her mommy and daddy, were going to dismantle a warship, as you do when you're royalty and you're dismantling your war regime. And so the evil chancellor and a bunch of his goons stab the king and queen to death. And the evil chancellor tells main character girl, you got to do what's in the plan. And the princess says, it's okay, I forgive you. And she shoots the princess, right? Okay. So how do you think the other conspirators react to her shooting the princess?
Oh, did I tell you guys that my local grocery store, I found out, it sells beef heart and liver and shit?
What?
Sorry, I just want to talk. I just want to talk about literally anything else but this movie.
No.
Oh no, this is the ideal response.
This is the ideal
response.
This is
correct.
How about you, Church? How do you think they reacted?
Maybe like this comment. Great at visual, shy at storytelling. The only real decent movie of his was a remake written by James Gunn, and that was Dawn of the Dead.
that is correct. That James Gunn wrote the movie, so he followed James Gunn's setup.
What was the slow-mo ratio for this dumpster fire, lads? How much shorter would the movie have been?
At least 25% of the movie was slow-mo, including slow-mo of harvesting wheat.
Man, that's the most exciting thing you can put in slow motion.
Because this movie was impressed that they grew actual wheat for filming this movie. They grew actual wheat to harvest.
Usually when you see that on the internet, they speed it up.
I'm going to film myself jerking off, and I'm going to edit the part where I come in slow motion. I'm going to send it to Zack Snyder for his next movie.
If 25 years ago Kevin Costner had made a movie that did that, they would have lambasted him mercilessly. Oh wait,
No,
they did.
He did
It
that.
was called
It was called
Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Oh wait, I liked Waterworld because Waterworld was at least entertaining to watch.
Now, so how the evil Chancellor reacted is, oh my god, what did you do? And everybody starts screaming at her like she's a murderer and a monster. All the people who, participated in the execution. The movie does not explain this psychotic episode. It made me feel like I was having a stroke. Also, in this assassination attempt, there's just a bunch of fucking musicians wearing bags on their head. And I don't understand why the musicians were wearing bags on their head.
Have you hung out with musicians?
I mean, these were bags in the head with a weird eye on the front of the bag. It was weird.
I was going to say, who cut the eye holes for the bags? Whose wife stayed up all night cutting eye holes into the bags?
See, I need to be accurate because I don't want to give Zack Snyder the benefit of the doubt. But I will say we can't judge him too harshly. Remember, George Lucas called what the guys at the cantina are playing jizz.
I mean,
and everybody loves George Lucas.
No, they don't.
So after everybody gets their backstory,
I mean, I challenge you to disagree when Doomcock and other people in our sphere who we do not talk to because we're not getting those fat stacks are currently sucking his dick because they're like, George Lucas is back to Star Wars. Woo! Like, it's not going to continue to be a shit show.
He's always been back to Star
Wars. The only reason the original trilogy was good is because people are like, George, this is some schizo shit. We need to make this story make sense.
Well, let me before we go back in time and have a prolonged conversation about the construction of Star Wars, let me finish this turn because I have a good movie to talk about after this turn. So once they realize, the bad guys, that the Scar Givers on the planet, they say, listen, fuck your wheat, we just want her. We will leave your planet alone. The wheat that, by the way, they offered the people to buy at 300% of the market value. So I don't even understand why the Emperor is the bad guy in this movie. They're offering to pay more than fair market price for the food. Well, he's not even the Emperor. He's the Chancellor. They killed the Emperor.
Right.
But George Lucas also made a race of frog fucking people that sounded like a Haitian jazz band. Yes, pure genius.
Remember, they use the word chancellor. Chancellery is Nazism. Nazism wrong because no one else has ever used the term chancellor as a political position ever in the history of the world. If your name is Zack Snyder and you inhale cocks.
I mean, Germany technically still does use that term.
Also, Boss Nass, the leader of the Gungans, was played by Brian Blessed. And it was a part made specifically
for
him.
Was it really?
Lucas. Yes.
I didn't know that.
So I mean, I love Brian Blessed, but that is probably the worst role he's ever done.
So the thing is, Brian Blessed didn't find out about Star Wars until Alec Guinness told him he was in it. He's like, I don't know if it's going to amount to anything. And he told his agent, why the hell didn't you get me in there? So his agent got him in there with Empire Strikes Back to talk to George Lucas. And George Lucas was like, shit, if I knew you would have wanted to be in this movie, I would have made a part for you. And George didn't make a part for him, but he made one for him in the prequels. So anyway, everybody fights. The bad guys have absolutely no tactical sense or operational security. The villagers all, exposit their emotions, their feelings. The main character girl flies her ship, which isn't like any of the other drop ships, up to the main ship. Nobody questions that. She uses a smoke grenade to make it look like her ship is damaged. Again, nobody questions that. She gets in, is taken a look at by medics. She fights all the medics. She goes down into the bay where what I'm guessing is the computer core is. It's not clear, but it's a giant thing that has a robot face. And my first thought is, no. My first thought is like, okay, look, this is a vaguely Warhammer aesthetic. So if you want the central computer core to have a robot face with a vaguely Warhammer aesthetic, you are making
How's it going,
sense.
Edwin?
Hello, Ace.
Hey. And
Hey,
she
can
played
we
some
talk about the
bombs
Ace?
on it.
That's a way better property.
Well, hold up. We're almost done. She drops down, ship blows up, and everybody cheers that a ship with an admiral got blown up. The end. So instead of making one movie, which was Space Seven Samurai, they've made 2 movies on their way to making 4 movies, and then making a 5th theatrical cut that they're planning to release to theaters. This is awful, and Netflix should be ashamed for themselves.
It's not Netflix's fault. They are not
No,
responsible
it
for
is.
this.
It is. They gave Zack Snyder the money to make this, so it is in
No,
fact their
no.
fault.
No, Netflix is only the catalyst for making it happen. They are not the people responsible. I know who's responsible. The responsibility lies with the release the Snyder Cut campaign. Okay?
Oh well, yeah.
Its success is the doom of media. That man will never, ever be out of work. He will continue to shit garbage into reality and be paid millions, possibly billions at the end of dollars for it because he can write his own check. Because
Oh, by the way,
anytime he's told you're fucking up, he can say, release the Snyder Cut.
Rune,
Yeah.
he's gonna have a Ragnarok anime that he's gonna be rolling out soon for Netflix.
Based on the Ragnarok manga?
No, based on the Norse mythological concept of Ragnarok.
Don't tell me those sorts of things, man. I gotta be able to sleep at night.
Look, I wanted
Don't
to
tell
prepare-
me that motherfucker is gonna fuck with my religion. I gotta sleep at night.
What's
I want to prepare your anger.
what's the theoretical legality of starving a box of weasels and anonymously mailing it to a, let's say, a hypothetical Hollywood director?
I mean, that's
If you write down what happens, they call that science.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. You do have to have measurable data. Now, I did watch a good movie on Netflix though. It's called The Bricklayer.
Oh, here's what you could do, Ayrton.
Yeah.
You could send a box of not hungry weasels and record that data as your control, and then send the hungry weasels.
That's right. It
Okay,
has to be
look,
science.
On this initiative, I'm just gonna point out the weasels weren't hungry when you put them in the box. They were hungry when they got there. That doesn't mean you planned for him to receive a box of hungry weasels.
So, the other Netflix movie I watched is called The Bricklayer. It's a pretty much standard by the numbers spy drama. There is a problem in Europe with the
Is
CIA.
it about Mexicans?
No.
Oh.
It is not. It's about a white guy who lays bricks.
Oh.
It's a twist, I know.
That's like a Shyamalan twist right there.
Let's be fair here. Larry. It is a former Alphabet agent who became a bricklayer after he retired from being an Alphabet agent.
Not true. He actually paid his way through college by laying brick.
No, I'm saying he became a bricklayer as his profession after he moved on.
But he was a brick. But he was a bricklayer before he was a
to
scoop.
bricklaying after
Yes.
being an Alphabet agent. He was both
That's
of
what
those
I mean.
things.
Yeah. So, there was a angry Russian mobster wanted to get revenge on the CIA, and they called up the bricklayer out of retirement to solve this problem because he was the former go-between with said Russian mobster. And he has a young go-getter analyst, a female Jack Ryan, if you will, who's riding tandem with him. And she's a go by the rules and do things by procedures, and he's an old school dinosaur CIA agent. So it's a classic spy formula. And there are twists and turns. You don't know who you can trust. Again, it's a classic spy drama.
Well, I mean, I do think that the bricklaying thing. I think that he just said that so that we wouldn't know that before he became an alphabet agent, he was a lobbyist for smoking.
Now that is an excellent movie. That is one of my favorite movies. Thank you for referencing that, Church.
Was it Aaron Eckhart? Because I did not see
It was
this
Aaron
movie.
Eckhart.
That's the main.
It was
That's the
Aaron
main
Eckhart.
actor. Yeah.
Yes,
Nice.
he was the main character.
Nice.
There is one
I'm
thing I
glad
didn't
he's
like in
getting
the
work
movie.
since doing Frankenstein Unchained.
Yes, there is something I didn't like in the movie. There were several fight scenes where they did the same thing they did in fucking Roadhouse, where they digitally created the fight scenes with the actors. And I did not care for that.
They've been doing that since Blade 2. Nobody likes that. It always looks like plasticine rubber men.
No, not like Blade 2. Not like Blade 2 at all. Like, the actors are like standing there and all of a sudden their arm moves. And then they grab the guy and then the guy moves. But the physical movements are not actually happening. It's disconcerting. It's very disconcerting. So again, it's a classic spy movie. You don't know if the people you're working for are the bad guys, or if your former allies are the bad guys, or if your current allies are the bad guys. But the bad guys get defeated. The whole central plot is all of Europe is angry because of the CIA overthrowing democratic European governments, which is a thing that the alphabet agencies would never do in foreign countries and most definitely wouldn't do in America.
Oh yeah, they totally didn't do that in Ukraine.
So it is actually a pretty good movie, pretty solid. The actress who played the main character, female lead, there were a couple of spots they gave her where she wasn't good enough to deliver what they wrote, but also I don't think what they wrote was strong enough for her overall. I recommend you go watch this movie because we need more things like The Bricklayer, albeit The Bricklayer made a lot of money because it was getting tax money from the Greek government, and less things like Rebel Moon the Scargiver. I still haven't watched the Fallout series, though. I have been coached by some people as to what I need to get through to be able to watch it.
I do think it's okay. Like I don't think you'll hate it.
I actually watched the first 2 episodes. It is patently okay. That is its strength and its problem.
I have come to realize something in watching it.
Before we get into a discussion about Fallout, I do want to talk about The Bricklayer just a little bit more.
You also saw it?
I have seen bits and pieces of it. It was on in the background, but I did a little digging on it, and because Aaron Eckhart, and it is based on a novel by a gentleman by the name of Noah Boyd, and there is a part 2 of the Steve Vale story.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the plot summation for the book 2 is ex FBI C Vale, so he's FBI in the books, not CIA. Is looking forward to a well-earned and romantic New Year's Eve in Washington, D.C. when he quickly finds himself knee-deep in a very complicated and unusual case The man, simply known as Calculus, has approached the FBI claiming he has a list naming several Americans who were supplying confidential information to the Russian Secret Service. And all he asks in exchange for the list is $250,000 for each trader the FBI nabs. But when Calculus informs the FBI that he's been recalled to Moscow, the Bureau suspects the worst. The Russians are onto him, probably have access to his list, and will be after the traders unless the FBI can find them first. The FBI knows they have to stay one step ahead of the Russians. Without knowing exactly who is on the list, keep the operation quiet. Once again, Vale is their man. He's the perfect guy for this kind of under-the-radar investigation. But finding Calculus in his list of turncoats isn't going to be easy. In fact, it's going to be downright deadly.
In fact,
That
it's going
sounds
to be as
fun.
hard as doing calculus.
So they adapted both books into one movie.
Kinda.
Okay.
Although the list in the current movie was a CIA assassination list, which included everybody the CIA wanted to assassinate.
Okay. Yes, I didn't watch it in its completion because I have no faith in Netflix movies, nor do I have the attention span to sit down for 2 hours and watch something anymore. Learn that about myself. I can sit down and I can play Magic for 8 hours in a row, but watching a movie, that's just kind of beyond me at this point.
So what I've come to learn in trying to watch the Amazon Fallout series is I can't think of a single post-apocalyptic genre entertainment piece I really like. And the only ones that come close to liking are things like Thundar the Barbarian, where everything's just too goofy, where everything's gone so far off the edge.
For a brief period of time, when it was just comic books, The Walking Dead was probably one of my favorite post-apocalyptic settings.
I Am Legend
wasn't-
was a good movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
you mean
but-
when it was called Last Man on Earth?
Yeah.
No, it's based off after a book called I Am Legend.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but
Last
the
Man
I
on
Am
Earth.
Legend with Will Smith is garbage.
It is terrible.
You want the one with Vincent Price? It's black and white. That was also written by Matheson, who wrote the actual book.
Or
the good
or
one.
if you want a less good adaptation, there's the Charlton Heston one.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Ayrton. The dog in that movie was the goodest boy.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
But they
was
don't,
goodest boy, but that doesn't save that movie.
But that movie is one of the movies that is completely ruined in the ending scene.
Oh,
right
yeah,
up
yeah,
there with
yeah.
Keanu Reeves' Constantine.
But here's the thing. I don't think Ayrton and I are in the class of people that say the ending of a movie ruins it in its entirety. We grew up kind of having to retcon things in our own head so that they could be good, even if the ending was shit. Or even if there was a part in the middle that was just completely out of fucking whack.
Like I barely remember the ending. It was like that chick like finds a human settlement or something, right?
Right, which is not in the book.
Part of the ending. That's not the part of the ending that's bad. Part of the ending that's bad is he kills the vampires and dies to enable the chicken kid to escape, versus the alternate ending that they filmed. And they filmed it because it was the correct ending, where Will Smith's character realizes that the vampires are just normal people who got turned into vampires, and they're not evil monsters. And he's just been killing people like a psychopath, just because they have a horrible disease condition that he, oh, by the way, was responsible for.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which
I thought the ending of him sacrificing himself was done and set up pretty well.
Yeah,
from
but
what
it's
I
not
remember.
Except that it's not the point of the book.
It's also
point of the
not
book
a
is-
good sacrifice.
Right.
Listening to the zombies and going, "You are people too. I was wrong," while they scream at you, obviously nonsensical because they're fucking zombies and not vampires, is not good. The entire point of I Am Legend is that they were vampires, and the vampires were people, fully capable of speech and thought.
And our protagonist in that book was the monster because he was just going around murdering people because they drank blood. That was the whole point.
He basically spent like 10 years murdering hobos in the street.
Oh no, it sounds like an alternate universe arc for Alex Jones when he broke into Bohemian Grove.
Yeah, but
Right.
Alex Jones would at least make it entertaining.
He would. And to Trisha's point, I almost all the zombie fiction and literature and movies I've not cared for. Just never cared for it. And that's is part of the weird trifecta is I struggle to find a musical I enjoy. One of the few musicals I've enjoyed is Top Secret with Val Kilmer.
Music
movie.
Man's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It depends on what you define as a musical, because like the old Abbott and Costello movies, there's always musical music and dance numbers in there. Same with the Marx Brothers, like those old like the stuff that comes from like the vaudeville tradition of having like different types of entertainment in a movie in like the early 30s and 40s and stuff. That's all pretty good.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's just like a thing I've been struggling with. It's like going, I just really don't like this genre of entertainment. I just don't. I mean, I can appreciate it when it's done well.
Would you consider Logan to be a post-apocalyptic movie?
Yeah, and unlike most
considering
people,
it was partially based on Old Man Logan, yeah.
Yeah,
and I didn't like Logan for its setting. I liked Logan because of the character arc. That's the only thing in Logan I particularly cared for.
I don't know, kind of like that societal collapse Western, like future Western thing kind of fits the character pretty well, I would say, as a setting.
No, I mean, it does, but I didn't like that part of the movie.
So, first and foremost, obviously, people are allowed not to like things they don't like. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of post-apocalyptic type movies that I've seen that I've liked.
Here's the thing. Larry and I have talked about Mad Max. I'm a huge Mad Max fan. And Larry always says the same thing. Because you do, Larry. You say, well, it's pornographic. Because sex and violence in vigorous amounts.
That's not why I say it's pornographic.
Right.
I say it's pornographic because that particular subgenre of the post-apocalypse is all about, damn you blew it all to hell. It's about all these other assholes with the reason why the world ended, and I'm the enlightened man who has to try to salvage civilization because of all of the rest of you. That's the pornographic part.
And I'm not even criticizing that. What I am saying is that what I think is probably more involved in your dissonance is not whether or not you can enjoy a post-apocalyptic film, but the fact that so often post-apocalyptic film is self-referential, right? Mad Max, the first one,
actually
was interesting for its time, right? But then if we say look at Night of the Living Dead, the first one, great. Subsequent Nights of the Living Dead, your mileage may vary. But increasingly, it becomes, do you remember this? You remember that? It is a precursor of the memberberry, where the fiction is only held together by references to better versions of the fiction you saw somewhere else.
I actually liked Zombieland. I could think about that's one I liked. I like the
See, I hated Zombieland because it's the quintessential example of that snarky, hey, we like this thing, but we don't like this thing because making fun of this thing is ironic.
So that was just a little something that I've been chewing on, because I want to dig into this thing because I like the ethos of the Fallout storyline. I like all that stuff, but I don't like the whole kitschy. We're the vault. We're kind of goofy and stupid. because we'll last hundreds of years like that.
Here's the thing: all of that is lore appropriate, and
No,
all
I know
of
it
that
is.
works.
I know it is.
But it works in game. It doesn't work in show, and that's the
No,
problem.
it doesn't. It doesn't
Right?
work in show. That's the thing that I struggle with. That's why I've still not finished episode 1.
Well, because see, my friend Ty and I, we watched those first 2 episodes, and we had a relatively lengthy argument about it, right? And the nature of the argument was, what do we like about this? What is likable about this? And I actually argued that the problem is the structure. Because we're dealing in a post Game of Thrones content generation era, right? Fiction has to be multiple storylines interwoven, which can be done. It can be done very, very well. It can also be done very, very badly, or with mixed results in the hands of someone who's less than fucking laser about what they're doing. So, what do we have? The Vault Dweller's storyline is cute, and it'll be interesting to watch her lose her innocence. And it is, frankly, the most generic Fallout story ever, right? And therefore, we've seen it. We've played it in various games. It's done, right? The Ghoul story by character actor, what is it? I think Walter Goggins.
Walter Goggins
is fucking amazing. I would absolutely watch a post-apocalyptic western about a fake cowboy who becomes a real bounty hunter and is a goddamn zombie. That's amazing, right? And him dealing with the actual trauma and the tragedy of, I lived through the bomb and I saw the end and my view on life and people is deeply damaged. That's fucking amazing. The Brotherhood of Steel plot can go out the fucking window. It's not even that it represents the Brotherhood of Steel wrong, because there are parts of it that are very right. It is that the main character has no fucking personality. He is a wet bucket. He is a cold towel of discomfort. There is nothing likable, laudable, or believable about that character. Because if you're a little
he's Finn
kid
from the new Star
surviving...
Wars movies.
I'm sorry, what?
He is.
He's Finn from the new Star Wars movie. Generic black guy.
Unfortunately, but here's the thing. Finn is almost likable because John Boyega is a very good actor.
Yes.
All right. Let us walk through this real quick. I am a small child. I am surviving in the fucking aftermath. I am rescued by a shining, glorious knight. I am raised and trained in the shining, glorious knight society of the Brotherhood of Steel. Why am I moody? Why am I unhappy? Because I want to be a knight. So fucking dedicate yourself. Learn the shit. Do the things. Give a fuck. Why don't you give a fuck? And then he finds out, oh, my knight's a piece of shit. These people are awful. But he has the power armor. And you think for half a minute, he is going to be the knight that he always thought other knights should be. And this is going to be awesome. No, he's a fucking moron in a power suit who fucking loses it.
All right, so real quick, before we get into the next topic, I want to circle back around to the post-apocalyptic discussion we were having.
Indeed.
Now, if you search post-apocalyptic movies on Google, it gives you a laundry list of examples. And just browsing through this list, I mean, I'm picking movies out that are actually really good. And I wanted to take a few of those and kind of talk about why some are better than others, and not just because of the overdoing of the genre or whatever. But let's take a look at The Army of the 12 Monkeys, Bruce Willis flick about the post-apocalyptic world with time travel.
I actually like 12 Monkeys.
Most people that I know do. It's a good movie.
I like it for the time travel aspect of it. The post-apocalyptic stuff is stuff I have to power through.
Well, I think the fact that it doesn't focus so heavily on it being in a post-apocalyptic future, but trying to resolve that future from coming to pass. in the past and how someone who grew up in this environment functions in the regular world. I think that's the stuff that made that particular movie good. Is anyone familiar with the animated film Nine?
Oh, I
I am.
forgot
skipped
about
it
9. That was
Yeah,
a good one. That was cool. That was an interesting
also a
twist on it.
post-apocalyptic movie.
That I'll say I enjoyed,
Zombieland, the humorous
which I
take on
mentioned.
the
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic wasteland. Good movie. Um, but then you have shit like 28 days, 28 weeks later, shit like that, and it's just
Now,
it's
now
Resident
see,
Evil with a new coat of paint.
no. See, here's the thing. I liked 28 Days Later because that's an internally consistent narrative that works,
Mhm.
right? 28 Weeks Later is the example of the problem. They said, okay, we're going
Yes.
to do a sequel to 28 Days Later. Okay. It's going to be the same but bigger. Okay. And then how does it all work? What holds it together? Well, this guy who did a shitty thing at a shitty point in life is going to somehow end up being the janitor that holds all this shit together. Okay. And nobody's going to like do his background or have regulation control on his activities because he's just the janitor. Okay. And that woman that he abandoned in the wilderness, oh, she's just going to happen to be alive and just kind of happen to find him and just going to happen to be infected and is just going to happen to be immune because of a single genetic mutation in her eyeball that causes her to have midichromia, right? Because somehow that prevents fucking zombie, right? So that she can just happen to be the typhoid Mary that will expose the janitor who's gonna sneak in to meet her, so that he can just happen to rage out and murder everyone, and it's going to become the global pandemic all over again because of course the military cannot contain the evil. There are so many, and then it happened because it happens, that are retarded in that movie that it is nonsense and it just ruins the entire narrative.
What about
They're,
Deep
they're,
Impact, Rune?
I don't care. Here's the thing: we're talking about post-apocalyptic. I don't like disaster films.
But I don't want to miss a thing.
Fuck you. And
Uh,
also, that's not Deep Impact.
I was
That's
actually going to
Armageddon.
bring that up. They list
Wait,
things
that's a
like
different
Deep
movie?
Impact and
Yes.
right.
So let me go over some that I see here on the list. So I like Escape from New York, Escape from LA. I like those two
Oh yeah,
movies,
that's
but it's
good.
on the strength of Kurt Russell as
Yeah.
performer.
Well, that and the
Duke of New
director
York,
is
a
always
number
good.
one. Yes, and the director's always good. The Postman is good, although I would really like to see an actual good adaptation of the book, The Postman.
Right.
And it had Tom Petty in it as an actor, which was kind of amusing.
Which is sad because he's dead.
Judge Dredd, I think, was pretty good. The original with Stallone.
Well,
because it was,
I think Dredd was pretty good.
Dredd is great, but the
They are
original
both
with
good in
Stallone,
different ways. They do different
right?
things. It's
but
okay.
the story in Judge Dredd, do we consider that post-apocalyptic, or do we just consider that the way the world's currently going?
What's the
So
difference?
the problem there is not it's not like it's a bad thing. It's just a problem in categorization, because Judge Dredd is post-apocalyptic outside Mega City 1 and is a particularly dark cyberpunk in Mega City 1.
Okay. Now here's one that I don't think comes up on a lot of people's list as apocalyptic, but it was a very well received franchise and still going to this day. Planet of the Apes.
I love Planet of the Apes. I don't like the newer Planet of the Apes films, but I like the original Planet of the Apes.
I've never seen any of them.
I liked some of the original Planet of the Apes movies.
I like the books.
didn't particularly.
Whether you like the new ones or not, it's just like Godzilla. It's going to keep coming because of how popular the originals were.
Right.
But I mean, I think that's a good post-apocalyptic theme because it diverts from it's either zombies or nuclear war or vampires or an asteroid or something. fucking somehow we just all turned into monkeys.
We didn't.
Oh,
But
wait, there's the John Travolta movie about like the Scientology lore.
Battlefield Earth.
Yeah,
No,
That
that's
is
just
one of the
bad.
worst movies
that
ever made.
that movie is amazing. What are you guys talking about?
You are on crack, sir.
Hold up,
Rune's
hold
movie
up.
Waterworld is on here.
Yeah, hold up. Also, Battlefield Earth was literally a movie made to embezzle money by the Russian mafia.
Nice.
That's even better.
The
Oh my
Matrix.
God.
Do we consider
are
the
you
Matrix post-apocalyptic?
It's not. That's actually
No.
a perfect example of what I'm talking about. What I think Larry doesn't like. Feel free to correct me, it's just my opinion. The Matrix wants you to think that it is post-apocalyptic, but it's actually apocalypse chic. Apocalypse for style. Everybody
I would
looks
just call it
cool
dystopian.
in the Matrix, and yet everybody in the shithole reality also looks kind of cool, and they have flying robot boats, and they've got all kinds of shit. And it's like, and you can leave this at any time to go in your VR realm and be awesome. This is not a post-apocalypse. This is not even apocalyptic.
Now another one I would like on this list is Cherry 2000.
I don't know that one.
So Cherry 2000 is a post-apocalyptic movie all about people getting sex robots. Because women make you have to sign like a 25-page contract before you can have sex with them. So it becomes better for men to just have sex bots.
Okay.
And it's all about a man's quest to get the perfect sex bot for him.
What about the Bigfoot versus universe? Does that count as post-apocalyptic?
No, that's just schlock.
But it's post-apocalyptic schlock, and it's wonderful.
I mean,
when you
glorious
reach a
schlock,
certain level,
since we just saw that BC-14 has another one.
Yeah, once you reach a certain level of schlock, you're just schlock. You don't have to worry about the rest of your genre.
That's fair.
You just throw anything in there. It could be a pirate movie by the next time we see it, and we wouldn't give a shit.
It's true.
We would still love and watch it.
Bigfoot versus Dracula versus pirates.
Absolutely. I would watch that movie tonight, even though I have work in the morning.
So
But
yeah,
no, I think that some of these things work well more so than others, just for the simple fact that their entire personality as a film isn't in the post-apocalyptic settings. It was how the characters cope with that post-apocalyptic setting. Also, one last one for the road. The Book of Eli is better than I Am Legend.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Book of
yes,
Eli is
but it's
great.
still shit.
No, Book of Eli was great.
I dislike the moral of Book of Eli. I dislike its thesis.
So
what was the thesis to you?
I'm sorry, what?
He wanted to know what the thesis was for you.
The thesis is that we should all just wait to die and let an enlightened small group of oligarchs decide our future from Alcatraz. Because somehow Gary Oldman, a man who is putting together a society, is a villain just because he's having to do what is necessary to put together a society post-bomb in a shithole.
I don't remember that being the thesis of the movie at all.
And the dividing line that makes society correct is, of course, the Bible, carried by blind Denzel Washington.
Did we watch the same movie?
Is the devil. Yes. I actually paid attention. I actually despise it.
Because I took it more as it was the point of it was more like a stepping out in blind faith, quote unquote, if you will, sort of allegory into like the harsh realities of life.
But where is he taking the book?
So fuck you, Ayrton.
Where
I'm
is
not
he taking
monologuing.
the book? He's taking the book
I'm not a goddamn
to
supervillain, you prick.
Alcatraz, where a bunch of elites live in the lap of luxury to preserve the knowledge, presumably, because the savages outside Alcatraz aren't good enough to have it.
And also from the perspective of Christianity, Eli really should be like, "Hey, would y'all like to have the good news from Jesus Christ? Because I'm here to give it to you."
I mean, to be fair, when did that movie come out?
2000 something.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the last time I saw it. So, like,
But here's an idea. Let's take that. Let's make that into like a streaming series about a guy who just wanders through the post-apocalyptic wasteland preaching Jesus to people. Now that could be interesting.
I mean, do you know Kevin Sorbo's number? Because he'll fucking do that.
he probably would actually.
I wanted a good actor to do it though.
Oh, you want that guy who's currently playing the devil in that other show?
I want Nicolas Cage to play the main character.
No, we said a good actor, sir.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage.
No.
Yeah, the best
Nicolas
actor.
Cage is a good actor. But no. I'm suggesting we get Alex Jones to make this TV show.
Well, do you want Alex Jones to be in it or just make it?
What I want is Alex Jones to be in it, but not realize he's in a TV show.
He has to at least cameo in it.
Okay, so the obvious answer is Alex Jones is a radio show host in the post-apocalypse, keeping the radio going, and you just have him be a voice on the radio at the beginning and end of every episode as an implicit narrator.
Yeah, broadcasting through like Ham or something.
Oh yeah,
right. Because he's the voice of freedom in America.
So, Aaron,
yes.
How much wonderful content do you have for our friend Rune today?
Well, this is the main one. I'm putting it in the chat, Larry, because my internet kind of sucks for playing YouTube videos. So you're gonna have to pull this one up.
Or Church, could you pull that up? Because
I mean, I'll try, but remember last time it was kind of choppy.
I see. We are nearing the end of the show, so it is time to bring out the torture. Got it.
Yeah. I mean, here, I'll pull it up and see what happens. Let me know.
Let's see the link here. I got it.
Oh, okay.
Church has us on this.
If it involves torturing Rune, I'll pull myself away from what I'm doing. Also, I want to point out that I could just sit here and play video games or work like I normally do and just kind of chime in with the random bullshit like I normally do, or and catch shit for that, or I could actually try and add something to the show and I catch shit.
You
for
did.
That. I can't win with you people. You're like fucking women.
Hold up. I wasn't giving you shit for contributing, Church. You added good stuff on top of my stuff.
If anything, I give Ayrton shit just for existing.
Which
but
is
then
fair.
again, Ayrton does things like this to me, so Oh, what the fuck?
It's Stuffy Bunny. We haven't seen Stuffy Bunny in a while.
I'm going to be doing a ASMR eating belly sound video.
These cuts are fucking terrible.
With different sounds. So, yeah. First off, noodles.
She has a rain and a monster. That bitch is trying to have a heart attack.
What are you talking about? That's not even breakfast for me.
But at her weight.
That's why she has to have a rain and a monster.
I don't understand why we have white bread on the plate. Why is there just white bread?
Because she's British.
Those noodles don't look like she used the seasoning packet either.
Yeah, because she's British. Seasoning's illegal over there.
If she's British, she should be having beans on her breakfast plate.
I was gonna say there should be beans on the bread and the
people,
noodles.
They actually do know how to make food. The problem is Londoners. Londoners are not human beings.
Well, that's fair. We can agree on that. What do you think, Rune? Is this ASMRing you up? You getting hard?
This is not ASMR. As a connoisseur of ASMR, this is not ASMR. This is a chick having a fucking lunch.
1.5.
Did you just turn the speed up?
I did.
Oh, that's toast. That is the lightest toast I've ever seen.
That's just stale bread, Larry.
Yeah, that's just a giant crouton.
Actually, you know what? I think it's actually a different kind of ramen packet. I think she's just eating dry noodles now.
I mean, you never did that?
Oh yeah, but at least I used the seasoning.
Oh. Oh.
I mean, I don't care if you're British, just don't do it in front of me.
I think we can all agree on that. Could you just go be English over there?
British somewhere else. You're saying.
Yeah. Okay. You can be English around me if it involves fish and chips. Otherwise, just get the fuck away from me.
It must suck to have to wake up every day and have to put on this accent that they do.
Right? It's almost like being Southern.
You mean their actual accent as they speak it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's literally a made-up accent.
Because ours is the more original version of English.
Technically, it's
Well, that's
Church's
because
accent.
we didn't
It's the
listen
more
to a bunch
original
of
version.
Victorian dillholes who decided that the English language was wrong.
The English language is wrong, Rune.
No. I'm specifically
I had to listen to Joshua Connor
where...
Moon talk about goon suits and gooning today. The English language is
I am
funked.
specifically referring to where the modern English accent comes from.
Oh, here we go. Here's some belly.
Here we go.
Some belly ASMR.
Belly rub.
The fuck? Oh! Oh! What the fuck, man?
Why would you do that? Oh. Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron. Well, what else you got here? Because I'm reaching my limit to be able to see this.
We'll speed it back up.
While Church speeds it up, hold on.
I don't think speeding it up's gonna make it less disgusting, Church.
Oh.
I could slow it down. Do you want me to do that?
I don't know. Well, that would help.
I kind of want to hear her stomach gurgle in slow motion.
All right, let's go back. Where are we at?
Dude, you could use this as a soundtrack for a Lovecraft movie.
I mean, normally I make jokes like "Don't tempt me," but if I honestly wanted
Hit the
to,
ceiling,
man,
bird,
I would absolutely use this as a horror theme. For I am horrified.
So if you guys remember the chick that made those fucked up cookies, she made a video about making giant meatballs. I put in the chat.
I mean, I'd rather see her fail at handling meat than listen to this.
It is better with slow motion.
Now, to be clear, because I may or may not have a friend in the audience, if they are here, we are not laughing at this woman because she's a big girl. We are not laughing at this girl because she's putting herself out there on the internet. We are laughing at this woman because of her inability to make good decisions and putting herself out there for all to see this. What the fuck? Young lady, get a different job. Find a different employment. Find a different avocation. Find your dreams, but for the love of God, don't make this your goddamn dream.
You know, she has like an OnlyFans and shit, Ren.
I know, and I'm horrified. I can't tell if I'm more horrified that she has one or that fucking horny perverts endorse this shit.
Oh,
you really don't want to know how many guys are into fat chicks.
That was amazing. That was the best thing we've ever done, was putting that in slow mo.
Into the sound the big girl's stomach makes.
For a lot of them, it is. The number of guys where the big girls
have
were also
a problem, and they should seek help.
The number of guys
I am now
where the big
Michael
girls were also
Jordan.
into fart porn.
Yeah, I am now Michael Jordan. Just stop it.
Get some help.
Get some help.
You definitely need to put this one on 1.5, Church.
Oh my god, why am I doing this? Anyway.
Yeah, I'm actually confused. I want to. I actually am
Hello,
curious.
and
How do you
welcome
fuck
back to
up
Truly Imagination
goddamn
Entertainment Channel.
meatballs?
Meatballs?
Yeah.
There's several ways you can fuck up meatballs. Let's find out which one she does.
And Food with Fee. As you know, my name's Fee, and I make food sometimes. And
Do you also record drunk? What the fuck?
I can ignore that. And today we are
You
going
know
to
how
be
it goes,
making
Rune.
giant
One for
meatballs
food,
inspired
one for the show.
We got it.
That is true.
Sorry.
And like if she's filmed multiple things.
food. Sometimes we're going to be making giant meatballs inspired by classic. Let me
Church?
No, oh no, I missed it. I want the little dance. There we go.
And today we are going to be making giant meatballs inspired by the movie Cloudy with a Chance Meatballs. We are going to be having spaghetti with it, but we're focusing mainly today on how to make the meatballs.
I fucking hate that movie.
Yes, this recipe was inspired by
and I've never
I
even
love
seen
that.
it.
and also Cloudy with a Chance.
I love
It was
that
a very
movie.
like
So
cult
great.
classic.
It was
I don't know if
inspired
it's-
so many
it's
shitty
classic, it's
videos.
People my age.
So many shit creators. They're like,
But it was
I
a
need
hit.
to
People
refer
my
to what
age,
I'm doing. I'm gonna say it was
most
inspired
of
by
us
this
love
piece
it,
of shit that
and,
has nothing to do with it.
This recipe is inspired by that. So, let's get started. For starters, your ingredients. I have them on my laptop right here. In fact, I might actually put them in the video this time.
Oh, she upgraded from
you
a
need
book to a
pound of
laptop.
quality ground beef, 2 eggs, medium onion, 5 cloves of garlic, a hunk of day-old Italian bread moistened with milk, a third of a cup of dry plain breadcrumbs, a bunch of fresh parsley. We're using that's basil. We're using parsley flakes because I really didn't want to get fresh parsley for some reason.
It calls for parsley and she uses basil?
That is the first mistake she's made.
Basil is just parsley in metric.
No, we all know what her first mistake was. She got up this morning.
Turning the camera on.
3/4 of a cup.
I mean, can you imagine what it'd be like, Church, if you got up this morning and didn't have breakfast?
Parmesan.
Hold up. Did you hear that second mistake?
What?
That she's replacing Romano with Parmesan.
Oh God!
Those are 2 different cheeses that cook differently.
Yes.
Salt and pepper, marinara sauce if you're making just meatballs. We're making spaghetti, so we got tomato sauce, fresh ricotta, and fresh basil. Again, we're using this because I don't also, if you're making
it calls for basil and parsley, but she's just going to use double the amount of basil, I bet.
So it's going to be like 4 eggs, 2 onions, 10 cloves of garlic. You get the gist.
Oh Jesus Christ! She's going to use double basil.
Yeah. In a small pan, add olive oil. But it was done did, but don't no. Done did already did that. So we're going to cut our onions.
You
and
could cut
our
that part
garlic.
out, you
So
know.
let's get on that.
I mean, why wouldn't you just one take Willie this entire disaster?
I'm scared for the safety of those
She's
onions.
one-handed cutting. Boys. She's using she just like it's a fucking cleaver.
Look, I do not have the best cutting logic. There are probably better people who are better at cutting than I am. But I also at least follow the fucking recipe, and I don't make substitutions that don't make sense.
Like doubling the basil.
Hurting my eyes.
Right. Like, as a for instance,
cheese.
well, I mean, as a for instance, I see that she has bread there. I suspect she's gonna make breadcrumbs out of it because somehow she thinks fresh breadcrumbs will be better. And it's like, no, just buy breadcrumbs. You need them to be old.
Oh no, you can bake this bread and crush it up into breadcrumbs. You basically make croutons and then you crush them.
Wait, did you guys notice she finally learned that you can use paper towel to dry your hands than your legs?
Yeah.
Right. But you have to remember, Ayrton, that for that video,
Points
she
for
was
the
wearing a
garlic
dress,
press.
so the obvious answer was she's going to rub her thighs as many times as she can for those views.
And we're going to start it. I need to go. I'm going to mix this up a little bit just so it's not even. There we go.
Wait, she didn't even turn the pan on yet?
No.
Let's check. You see the flame there? Let's see if the flame is here. Nope, the pan was not on
Now
when
you
she
guys have a
started
bit of a better
spraying.
view of what I'm doing.
Survey says no.
See, I am more apt to burn my house down than to forget to turn my fire on.
But see, here's the thing.
It smells so good.
The pan was not hot.
One
when she
thing
put
that
the
I just
stuff
love
in.
about cooking is the
Yeah.
smell.
So
I'm a
it's
scent
going to
freak. I love,
caramelize
like aromas,
instead of.
perfumes. That's a
Like,
hair. Get that out of here. Get that out of hair.
It's not going to
She's
cook
making-
I
right.
love.
She's
It's
making a
going to
lot
soak
of
up
mistakes.
oil.
I
and
mean,
the smell of cooking garlic.
if you actively are
Yes.
moving it around with the spoon, you might be fine.
It's still
But
gonna
this
soak up
hinges
more
on
oil.
knowing what the fuck you're doing, because it's still not ideal.
Even if you move it around with the spoon, you're still moving it around in oil.
Right. The thing is that there are
The
some
oil
things
needs
you
to
want
be
a hot
hot
pan
before
for,
you
and
put
there are
the
some
food
things you
in
want.
it.
I'm just saying, some things you want a cold pan, some things you want a hot pan. Knowing the difference is vital.
And she doesn't.
When you're
Right.
using oil, you typically want a hot pan.
Right,
Yeah.
because you want hot oil.
Yeah, because she's trying to saute these.
Oh my god, I'm gushing over onions.
She's gonna caramelize them.
Let's turn that off because I think
Which
those
is
are
not what you're
softening
supposed to
enough.
do.
I'm just gonna let those
Especially
kind of
not when you're
cool.
cooking onions.
And I'll reset
For,
you guys so we get back
pasta.
to our whatever.
Don't leave your spoon in
Those
the
are
pan.
still
going
white.
to-
She turned the
yeah,
heat
so
off.
this makes 3 meatballs, so that's what
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, yeah, because white is
We're
right.
going to add
here.
everything together. I'm going to start with the eggs because that's how we do.
Shouldn't you have the meat ready?
They are quite the little demons on this channel, as we have been
It's ready. It's in the
accustomed to.
package. It's right there.
Just gonna
Wait.
Out of the way.
Hold on. Did
And
she
then the
throw
egg.
one eggshell in the sink and then the rest are going in the trash can?
Yes.
Eggs done.
Yep. Wash your hands
Very
again.
excellent.
No, she didn't. She just rinsed them off with water.
Wow.
See,
hands are
here's
still coated in
here's an
bacteria.
example. Here's an example, and I want to be clear. I would not wash my hands doing that until I was done with the meatballs.
Right.
Because you're gonna get shit on your hands
Alright.
anyway.
I'd
That's
probably
why
just
you-
lick my
That's why you're
brain.
supposed to
In milk.
separate your dry ingredients
Weird, I know,
out
but,
into containers.
Right.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
How we
Hold
make
up.
meatballs.
Hold up.
So I'm gonna do that.
What the fuck is she
because-
doing with bread and milk for making meatballs?
With what?
I don't understand.
I actually know the answer to this, but she's doing it in the wrong way.
Well,
What-
what is
what
she
was the
trying to
question?
do? The
You-
bread
you
and the milk.
have the meat, okay?
Hmm.
You have the bread already in a crumb format.
Right.
The milk can be used as an adhesive to help the meat hold on to it. The thing is,
Yeah, that's
she's
what the
already
egg's
got
for.
egg yolk. She doesn't need milk, but
Well,
she's
the
yeah,
gonna
white's
do
why
the
both.
adhesive part, but yeah.
So she's going to do both, so there could be soggy balls.
Yeah,
Everyone likes some soggy balls.
I mean,
Red
I don't know if
say,
she's her boyfriend or not.
Weird, I know.
dare,
but,
dare I say, Ayrton, soggy
how
like
we make meatballs.
glued
So
your
I'm gonna
balls
do
to your
that
butthole.
because that confuses the hell out of me. That's gonna question. Where's the serrated knife?
I mean, if you eat those, you're gonna
Yeah,
glue your
it's-
meatballs
it's
to your
a hunk.
butthole.
I don't know what a hunk is, but I'm gonna assume it's a lot. So
Again.
I'm gonna say it's this much.
Oh, no,
Maybe a little more.
no.
Wait.
No.
She
Much
said
bread.
wait.
Leaves us with
She
this.
said she
No.
didn't know how much was what. Roll
How
that
much
back. She
hunk
didn't
of
know how
bread
much
was?
what?
No, this is not never
A hunk of bread.
Does it
No.
say a hunk? Does it say a hunk? Because if it says a hunk, that's not a recipe I would use.
Also, that's too much.
All right.
No, it's not in her. It's not in her thing here. Let's see what she does with this hunk of bread.
Also,
That's an interesting tactic, Cotton. Let's see if it works out.
Wait.
Uncooked Undercooked
Wait,
onions
wait.
And garlic.
Oh no!
It's for texture.
Oh. Oh no!
So now we got a second bowl. All the bowls are being used.
Your masonry involves setting that up first. You should have had your bowl out before you started. You stupid cow!
I'm gonna kind of break this up a little bit though. This is so weird. You have to soak it in milk. Doesn't make much sense to me now, but it's in the recipe, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, you soak it, but not when it's fresh. You soak it after it's.
Actually, you know what? We're doing that step last, just because it confuses the hell out of me.
After it's crusty, so that
Wait,
it breaks
wait,
up easier.
wait. Do you hear what she said? We're doing it last because it's confusing me. No, it needs to be done in a specific part of the process.
Read the fucking thing.
Oh. Well, she is. It's on her laptop. See?
That's the thing. She has less excuse. If you can see it and you're reading it, follow the fucking instructions. Read the goddamn manual. The rules are not optional.
Is she on heroin? Is that why these are like this? Is it cooking on heroin?
I mean, she is Canadian, so
wait, are you saying the actual name of the show should be Downey's on Heroin?
No, the cooking show with the Down syndrome guys, they cook better than she does.
They cook amazing shit. And they're funny.
Yeah.
Hold up. What's you?
Breadcrumbs here?
There we go.
Is that what this is?
Why are you putting in breadcrumbs and milky bread? I don't understand.
You don't need both.
That's just the metric system, Larry.
You don't need both.
2/3 of a cup of breadcrumbs.
So now we have soupy breadcrumbs and uncooked onions and garlic and eggs.
Here's the thing.
Oh.
Just ask yourself,
Oh.
why is she putting it all in a bowl?
Romano, also known as Parmesan.
To mix it.
Yeah, but that's just it. You don't have
We're
to.
gonna double that as well.
That's not how that works.
You make your mixture. You make your meatballs. You put your meatballs in your mixture. You roll them around so they're good and sticky. Then you put them in the dry breadcrumbs and you roll them around in it like a bed, and it gets covered.
That's a lot of Parmesan cheese.
Yeah,
right, we're
she's supposed to
doubling
be
up
using
on
Romano.
ingredients.
Also, she's supposed to be using Romano cheese here, not Parmesan.
But that's just it. You don't double unless you're making more of it.
Always remember to be careful when cooking with ground meat, because ground meat,
she's putting her
it
meat
doesn't
last.
cook the same way that regular meat does.
What?
It's all much together, so the bacteria.
The meat is one of the last
Can be
steps.
almost-
That is.
Now we're washing our hands a third time before we touch the meat again.
We're gonna have to touch it.
I mean, that actually isn't necessarily so bad, but you're still gonna eat it. You should still just wash your hands after.
Beef, so you can stop.
Now we've
asking where it is.
contaminated our spoon.
Well, she's washing it.
Right, we're washing the spoon.
Getting soap all
No
over
soap,
that
but
spoon.
we're washing
then-
the spoon. We didn't use
Pause
soap.
it.
Now we're
And
touching our laptop.
level.
That's good.
So how much positive do we need? A
Yeah,
bunch
our
of fresh
lap.
positive. So a decent sprinkling. I might actually do that once it's a bit more mixed. Now we have to figure out this
I
bread
hope
situation.
my friend is actually present.
So let's get
She's,
this
she's a mom. I'm sure she will have some choice things to say about this bullshit.
Okay. Now we talk. So what I'm gonna do, because there isn't a big enough bowl, I'm just gonna keep filling this with milk, and we're gonna squelch that into there,
What?
and then we're gonna start mixing it all together.
What?
Do you guys think she's?
I don't know
Do
what
you
I
guys
started doing.
think
It's kind
she's
of
still
like accident,
skinny
whatever. No one really cares.
because she gets so much
No, no,
food
no, no.
poisoning from her cooking?
Yeah.
She just shits it all out immediately.
Dear God, this is
No, I think that
Weird.
meth and cocaine are hells of a drug.
They are. It's a fact.
Wait, did she just wring the bread out?
Yes.
Yes.
Like a towel.
I am horrified at what's going to be produced.
This is lame. I don't know why I started cooking the wrong
I'm
meat.
pretty horny right now, actually. This is great.
Yeah, because you're married, Church. You have an actual woman who actually knows how to cook for her actual family. That trad wife energy is
Church-
strong. It's the
Church
church house.
understands how. Church also knows how to cook better than this.
Joyous.
I do most of the cooking.
Oh, I feel like I'm going to be sick looking at what she's
I mean,
doing.
A real man provides for his family.
I mean, That's awful. What she's doing.
Yeah.
She's gonna make some guy one of the wives of all time.
And they're too big.
Well, they're giant.
No,
meatballs.
they call them giant meatballs. Hopefully, what's going to happen here is we're going to pan-sear these, and then we're going to finish them in the oven.
Yeah, but
She's
here's
putting
the
them on a baking sheet, Church.
That was actually 3
You
pounds.
can bake them, but not like that.
Yeah, you can
And we
reverse
have
sear
9
it.
meatballs so far, so
The breadcrumbs
it's still counting. So we will
in
probably
the
wind up with
moisture.
meatballs.
Those are
If you're
clearly
going to
not
do a reverse
covered.
sear, though, I feel like you'd want
What a
to.
coincidence! The time I do Buddy with a chance of meatballs, I oversee
So what
how
you
much
can
I
actually
do.
do is if you use like crackers
Hey,
on
I'm
the
eating good for the
inside,
next few days.
you don't need to put it on the outside.
I mean, I suppose. But the real question is, what is this going in? Is she just gonna eat meatballs by themselves, or are they going in something? Usually, you're putting them in like a
She's
pasta
making
with
a sauce. She's making a sauce.
Is she making it for herself, or is she gonna use it from a can?
Oh look, I found an apron.
Oh, now you
Oh,
found
good.
an apron.
It took you long enough. Good job.
14 episodes in, and you find an apron.
All right, so the giant meatballs are done. Thank you.
No.
And
Did you preheat the oven? Have you been
Yeah.
preheating this whole
here
time?
are big ass meatballs. I really overshot how much of this we actually needed, but
Yeah,
here we
because
are.
you doubled. You stupid freak.
Anyway, so we're cooking these for 20 minutes. Then we're going to remove them, drench them in sauce, and then put them in this.
Yeah,
big
you're
pot.
not.
Then
You're not.
the oven will interrupt me as it opens up.
I've seen her show
Boys.
before.
First of all, those will not
Hold on,
fit in the
stop.
one Pyrex pan. And in the second, that's going to need more than 20 minutes. Those are too dense. They're going to be cold and fucking red in the center.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to move back to this point real quick. And we're going to observe this. This recipe calls for enough meat to form 3 meatballs about the size of a tennis ball, and then we're going to take into consideration
Right.
that she has what is it, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15
Each the
meatballs.
size of a baseball.
No, those are the size of a softball, my friend. They're bigger than a baseball.
I am
So-
ignorant of the
we have
basketball, so
we have
I do not
seasoning.
know the differential.
We have seasoning, breadcrumbs, basil, salt, pepper, onions, and garlic for 3 meatballs spread amongst 15.
Oh my god, this is not the original recipe. You know how I know this is not the original recipe? Don't click it yet.
Okay.
Read the second instruction very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Place all the ingredients into a bowl. A bow, not a bowl, a bow. She copied this from somewhere else in her own hand.
Did she put the wrong instructions up on the screen versus what she's actually following? Because
I
that
mean,
would
she's
be
pretty-
amazing.
She's pretty intoxicated, so that's possible.
How many steps do you think she missed because she didn't think she needed them?
At least 3.
So let's look at those giant
We're gonna put these in.
testicles of meat.
Open me up. Oh god. People wonder. I wonder why I'm single. I think that's why. That's why you're single, Fiona.
Thank you
Well,
for
like, well,
revealing
the
the
balls
truth. No men want
she's
to
that-
Anyway, we're gonna put these in.
She's that close to self-awareness.
For 20 minutes.
I mean, Ayrton, doesn't somebody want to make her his next ex-wife?
That's
You know-
true. Yeah, Anthony does.
We're gonna
You should
start
let
that.
Anthony know. She's
And I will
single.
check back with you in 20 minutes.
Oh, he
Okay,
knows.
so my oven is screaming at me, which can only mean one thing. Shut up.
So you've done
It only
something
means
wrong.
that the fucking meatballs of doom are mostly done baking.
Are one of those sauces different than the other
Holy crap,
two?
these things are-
Yes.
My god. Anyway, they are done.
No shit.
What done? I have no idea.
Of course you have no idea. Fucking mong.
Actually, I have a better way of doing it. Ah! Stepping on onions.
God.
I'm just going to take some tongs, put them in this thing. and then
Oh no, she's gonna use them in
Anyone away?
spaghetti.
Where
Those
my
are
tongs?
way too big for spaghetti.
That's not coming. There we go.
Yeah, you have the plate of spaghetti with 1 meatball on it.
yeah, that's not what I call spaghetti. Yeah, said it wouldn't take. I said it would take more than one Pyrex.
Wait, don't you put Parmesan on?
We're using
after everything's
Classico pasta
Yes.
sauce here, it looks like.
You put the Parmesan.
Yep, she removed the label.
after.
But the shape of the bottle is unmistakable.
Who the
Wait, there's
fuck
a-
is that?
What?
Who the fuck was that?
Ah! Well, who's gonna eat all these fucking meatballs?
Oh,
I'm gonna shoot
they're
myself.
here.
This
Why
is
the
what happens
fuck?
when you make
We
too
call
many
him help to
meatballs,
cook the
folks.
pasta.
Why aren't you helping her not fuck up?
I think that person is supposed to be her tard wrangler and
pasta's
is about
done.
to be
The
fired.
meatballs are almost done. So,
Or it's her
well,
mom.
that's
In which
super
case, I want to
sad.
know: is this
Maybe we'll get
idiocy
160,
genetic?
And then we're gonna have our daddy with a chance of meatballs, spaghetti, and meatballs. I'm so excited, especially because it's 9
That is
o'clock.
not going to
and
be
I haven't had
spaghetti and
any
meatballs.
similar
You dumb
food
cow.
all day, except for a donut and some Oreos, because
Oh,
I
God.
make poor health decisions.
You know, I hate this because this instantly
But it's
turns me
almost
into an
ready for time for
unpleasant
dinner.
person.
So,
I change my language to very
good night.
nasty
That's
things.
right. Remember what I'm doing, everyone. I'm going insane. This is iced tea, by the way.
Alcoholic iced tea. Look at that
Oh.
slop.
Oh,
Look
I'm
at the
not even-
grease.
Oh.
Look at the
Here's the thing.
grease sitting on the top of that.
Here's the thing: I'm not even bothered. I'm not even bothered by the meatballs, which are awful. It's the waste. There's so
Hello,
much
well, I
sauce.
know this is not a formal outro, but I am tired and it is almost 10 o'clock. The meatballs came
Eat
out well.
the
I will
fucking
put up
food.
a video on screen of them for you
You
to see,
made
so
it.
you can see how they
Eat
turned out as
it.
a finished product.
Don't
They
you
taste really
waste
good.
that
They're very
shit.
soft. I think that's why you put the milky bread in, because it gives it a very soft texture, it keeps moisture. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of True
No, see, this
Imagination
is not allowed.
Entertainment. Food
I
and
want to
Tea.
see her
If
try
you are enjoying
everything
this,
she
please.
makes and state how
Well, I
fucking
mean-
awful it is.
Well, I mean, why do you think she's so tired? She clearly ate a giant ball of meat.
I mean, that's not the first time she's done that, but sure.
That was terrible, Ayrton. I hate you for that.
I have
I'll be
I have a
sending you
worse
a bill for that half hour of my time.
I have a worse thing specifically for you, Church.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
The church just leaves.
This one I can play because it's on Twitter. Give me a sec. Let me go over to it real quick.
And he's gone.
Oh no, Church! If we have to put up with this, you have to put up with this.
But understand, we're here with you, man.
We are.
Shared struggle.
Yeah.
Hold on real quick. I got to kick Larry so he can't add me back.
If Twitter would fucking cooperate with me, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay.
Your Elon bots do not trust you.
They don't. Let me know when you're ready.
What
That
the
looks
fuck?
disgusting.
No.
Old fashioned recipe that'll blow everyone's mind.
No.
Toast crunch old fashioned. Let me show you how to make it. Fill up the
No.
toast crunch. Fill the rest of our jar up with bourbon. Have you ever just had an idea that you started acting on, and mid through that idea while you were doing it, you realized
Is that Buffalo Trace that he's pouring into that cinnamon toast crunch?
No,
this is
it's
that
wild
idea
turkey.
right now. Put this in the
Okay.
fridge and let it sit overnight. The wait is finally over, so let's go ahead
Oh.
and strain this into a bottle. There's a few things we can
Ugh.
all agree on. One of those is that soggy cereal is gross. Finally, we're gonna add in 4 ounces of our cinnamon toast crunch bourbon into a glass. You can always use a rye as well. Those work just as good with old fashioned. A little bit of cinnamon sugar, 3 to 4 dashes of Angostura bitters.
Just Church, let that sink in. Cinnamon and Angostura bitters.
Before we
That
before we
is-
dig into this, I just want to say, look at this man's face. Look at
He
how
knows
his-
this is going to be vile.
No,
Oh,
no,
he
look
hates
at-
You
it.
really wanted to
no,
make
no,
this.
No. Look at his sloping features. If this is not fetal alcohol syndrome, this man has damaged his brain with too much alcohol.
All right, let's finish this video
Stir
so
this
I
till
can
the
tell you
cinnamon
how to make
sugar
a cinnamon
dissolves.
toast
Drop
crunch
in our
old
ice
fashioned
mold.
properly.
Garnish with some cinnamon toast crunch. Time for a sip.
Don't
Cheers.
put fucking cereal in the drink, you asshole!
This is good. This is really good.
All right.
Long story short, I would make love to this thing if I could.
Your taste buds are
Here's-
dead. That's why you can't tell what it tastes
Alright.
like, you fuck.
So Would you like to know how to make a cinnamon toast crunch inspired old fashioned without, being a
Yes.
douchebag?
Yes.
Okay. You take your whiskey and you infuse it with cinnamon stick. Just cinnamon stick. That way you don't get that milky color of spoiled whiskey.
Yeah.
Because that's spoiled whiskey. That was alcohol abuse.
And then you can go and get some vanilla bitters and use those instead of Angostura bitters.
Yeah.
And you use your cinnamon infused whiskey after about 2-3 weeks of being in an airtight container. Use a couple of dashes of vanilla bitters. Use the cinnamon cube or simple syrup at your choice. I prefer the old fashionedness of a sugar cube rather than the simple syrup. But if you're adding water to it anyway, like you should be with an old fashioned, might as well just use a simple syrup. But you could garnish the rim with a little bit of cinnamon sugar if you wanted to be extra, and a cinnamon stick in the glass.
Or you can garnish the rim with cinnamon toast crunch.
No.
Nah, that's not no.
No.
That's too much.
You don't want to use a breakfast cereal in a fucking classy whiskey drink. No.
Here's the thing. See, what you've described, Church, doesn't agitate me because as a non-drinker, that sounds like there's actual artistry to it. You have to understand a certain amount of science to make that happen.
Yes.
Okay? What that guy just described, that's not even just hobo booze. That's fucking prison wine with cinnamon toast crunch.
Yeah.
That's a step below prison wine. Let's be clear here.
Well, toilet wine requires artistry too, guys.
Exactly.
Like you have to use your fucking wherewithal and knowledge of chemistry to figure out how to make wine in your pant legs under your bunk without being discovered.
I should ask our friend Wolfgar, because he used to work in the prison system, how complicated they get with prison wine. How creative is it? I bet he has some great fucking
they had
stories.
to limit the amount of sweet things you can get because of the ability to make prison wine with it. Like fruit is a rare commodity and it's heavily monitored because that's the main source. Honey is near impossible to get your fucking hands on because it's used as a way to up sugars. Because if you're making wine, you have to have a shitload of sugar for your yeast to get. Getting yeast is like fucking. I don't even think they carry activated yeast in prisons anymore. They just get their bread in. So you have to use moldy bread.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get really creative. I've heard of Jolly Rancher wine in prison because they use the Jolly Rancher for the sugar content. Any kind of fruit they get their hands on, they'll like poke holes in it and just throw the whole fucking thing in there so it actually disintegrates at the correct pace.
Yeah.
Because you can only like burp prison wine like once a day if you're lucky. And you risk spilling the whole thing because you're basically making it in either a pant leg or a plastic bag.
But either way, there is still an artistry to making actual alcohol. Okay? The entire presentation of throw some shit in this other shit and then seal it and then put it in your fridge overnight and then the next day you strain it and you put some other shit in it and then you drink it and it's great. It's like the fuck?
No,
what
man,
the fuck?
I'm telling you, cinnamon infused whiskey that you can make yourself.
Right.
Vanilla bitters, cinnamon sugar around the rim, sugar cube for sweetness, maybe an extra sugar cube if you want to be extra about it, or a dash of cinnamon on the ice cube or whatever.
Fuck's sake, I'll
for
bother if I really wanted it, I'll bother my friend Patrick. He runs a microbrewery. He makes some private use stuff and some light sale, and he probably would have some ideas that would interest you in like how to do this. Probably make like a cinnamon crunch mead.
Well, microbrewing is different than mixology.
You can make a mead out of cinnamon toast crunch. That's doable.
Yeah.
But
No, I
that's
get
not
that there are
that's
different
not
disciplines. I'm
destroying.
just saying.
Here's the thing: when you have a whiskey room and it's in a bottle, somebody for at least what is it, 3 years, Ayrton?
Minimum
Yeah,
of 3.
Yeah, 3 for
On a bourbon, it's at least 3 for a
Yeah.
rare bourbon or scotch. But it has to be at least 3 years. So for 3 years at minimum, somebody has monitored and overlooked and cared for the production of this product. They have taste tested it. They have sampled it. They may have mixed it in a way to give it a certain flavor profile, and then you take that shit and you pour it into a mason jar and you put fucking goddamn cinnamon toast crunch in it. It's a slap in the
Right.
face to the artistry of making the whiskey in and of itself. It's not a vodka. It's not a neutral spirit that somebody created in about 30 minutes and was ready for consumption immediately.
Right. It's not even like just somebody's fucking shine where it's like, well, we're experimenting out back here in the woods. Do what you want with it. It is.
Well, that's what I mean by neutral spirits. Shine,
Yeah.
Everclear, vodka, any of that stuff. You can do that kind of shit with.
Listen, hanging out with the hillbilly Indians in the mountains, there's more artistry in making shine than there is in this.
Well, there's artistry in making shine, but I'm saying they're still neutral spirits, and you don't have to make. You can drink shine. You make that afternoon. You don't have to spend 3 to 6 to 10 to 20 to 18 years perfecting the taste profile of a bottle of shine. If it comes out and doesn't make you blind, it's ready to go.
And similarly, there's pine cone party liquor.
Somebody who's a fellow Squidbillies aficionado, I see.
I mean, them boys wild as hell.
Unknown Henson's my favorite person on the whole fucking planet.
So, Church, take us home.
Well, well, real quick, I do want to mention to Church. I was deeply, deeply agitated at a friend of mine and Larry's in common. In the first, because he got really drunk and was obnoxious, but also because of the thing that he has found that he possessed. Ego brand sippin' liquor. It's alcohol that tastes like a waffle in a bottle.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate the idea of it.
No, you shouldn't, Marine, because you're a non-drinker. And let me say, all of these things I think have a place in the zeitgeist of social drinking or whatever.
You're at a bar and someone says, "I got an Ego liquor." You're like going, "Fuck it, why not?"
I'll take a shot of that. But here's the thing, Rune. There's a drink you make with a product called Goldschlager that they call an oatmeal cookie. Okay, it is a mixed shot. So it is a 2-ounce container, and you drink it, and it tastes like you just ate an oatmeal cookie from Little Debbie.
Sure.
And that's what mixology has done, and having products that facilitate things like that, an Ego liquor you can easily do a round of breakfast shots like that. I mean, they make beers that are thick enough that people in England drink them for breakfast. So you get a chunky beer and an Ego shot, then you're having a pretty good morning to start your day off with. But and before you say, well, you shouldn't be drinking at that hour, that's the entire reason that the Bloody Mary was created, or the mimosa,
or screwdrivers, or
yeah. So, I mean, it being what it is, it has a place in the zeitgeist. Now, we have things like there's a brand of whiskey called William Wolf. And I actually really like William Wolf whiskey. It's all typically flavored whiskey, but it's more bourbon based than it is like a blended a Canadian whiskey, like your flavored Crown Royals. And I've actually had a pecan old fashioned made from pecan flavored William Wolf whiskey. The reason that I don't hate these things is because they were infused by the manufacturers in a way that still left the product in a presentable and respectable format. If you tried to sell me a bottle of whiskey that was milky in color and it wasn't a 10,000-year-old ancient bottle for display purposes only,
that I might
have to punch you in the mouth.
Right.
Or it's like down in Peru, they have a liquor. It's kind of similar to a brandy. It's called Pisco, and what they do is you go pretty much any bar you go into in Peru is they have giant like 5-gallon jars of this stuff with different crap in there, infusing it. Anything from cinnamon to lemons to fucking jalapenos, and they make tons of drinks out of it. It's fucking delicious.
Yeah, and I mean, there are even content creators out on the internet that I suspect that do crazy shit like that. Like, Doka Brian or Doka Ryan or whatever his fucking name is,
or that Stillet guy that makes like the meme cocktails or meme spirits.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't find it as just appalling as when they do shit like that, because you know that they're doing something outlandish to be outlandish. That person presented this as a good drink to make. He didn't say, "Hey, my comment section told me to put these two things together and tell them how it was." He said, "I just made this delicious drink with Cinnamon Toast Crunch and wild turkey."
At least he used wild turkey. And not like a nice
used Jim Beam.
Well, that's fair.
Or Kentucky Gentleman.
Yeah.
Two whiskeys I frequently drink, by the way. I'm not knocking them as brands, but I'm saying at the price point. I mean, shit. Wild Turkey 101, $30-something a bottle.
Yeah. Maybe some SoCo. Could have used some SoCo.
No. The medicine flavor would fuck up the cinnamon toast flavor, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was just SoCo.
I was just thinking price point, which would be least effective.
SoCo's more expensive than Jim Beam or Kentucky Gentleman. $7 a liter.
Oh, okay, I was thinking Jim Beam. I thought SoCo was cheaper than Jim Beam.
Jim Beam is like fucking $14 a liter.
Is it really?
Yes.
I haven't bought Jim Beam.
Is like $20 a liter now.
Oh.
Regardless, we were in fact wrapping up. We have now had a 15-minute alcohol minute.
Well, Benchmark's up to like a $20 liter now. It used to be like $8.
Jeez.
Now, Benchmark's a good whiskey to use in a Cinnamon Toast Crunch Old Fashioned because it does have notes of cinnamon already in it.
Do you have a final thought, Church, or is your final thought make better alcohol?
What? We're getting pissed off because we're going along talking about something I'm knowledgeable in. And
no, I'm just saying. You have a final thought. Larry was trying to get us to wrap, and we're still going down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's.
I think we have gone into the darkness and
yes, we can go ahead and close it out. Ayrton, get us the fuck out of here.
Good night, everybody.